All right, good evening and welcome to the September 17th, 2025 Plastow Planning Board meeting. Ms. Charlene, call the roll, please.
Richard Anthony.
Here.
Sharon Robinson.
Here.
Dan Kane.
Here.
Rich Leclerc.
Here.
Nolan Pelletier.
Present.
Bill Coy.
Here.
Ms. Costa.
Here.
Shay Raymaker.
Here.
Excellent. And for purposes, we have our planning admin with us tonight. And so just by way of consensus, she'll be participating. All right.
Okay.
We have minutes from September 3rd. If you hadn't had an opportunity, take an opportunity to review them.
I can tell you one thing already.
Yeah.
And I bet it's probably what I say.
Yeah, Chair Anthony, the contract on page 1.
No,
Chair Anthony.
You're entitled.
Yeah, maybe reported or said.
What's that? Okay. It's fine. I like to note things, but.
The other thing I saw on page 3, on the discussion of the master plan update, Wyndham. It's just spelt wrong, Wyndham.
Yep.
2 spots.
What you talking about, the hotel?
Where's the second one? That's.
I just have I see on page 2 that the chairman agreed with me, but I don't see what I had stated.
What was that one more time?
I see on page 2 that you stated that you shared the same view as me, but I don't know what that view was because it wasn't stated in that.
It's like being at home.
Jeez.
All right. With respect to that, where are we looking at if you're saying that, Nolan? Just kind of navigate on page 2 somewhere. There we are. All right,
Third
he-
paragraph near the bottom, he noted he has the same view as Nolan and Pelletier that the conflict was in draft rules. Oh, procedure attorney. I retract my comment. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
All right. And I think I just have one indication. First, page 2 on the committee reports, Dan Kane had been appointed chair of the committee. So I just CIP committee is
Okay.
just my suggestion. Apart from that, anything else? All right. Do I have a motion to accept the amended minutes?
To accept the amended minutes.
Is seconded? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So 5-0-0.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Ms.
Who
Robinson?
was the second then?
Chairman Anthony? All right. All right. First on the agenda, we have a public hearing, PB 2509, the completeness of an application for J&Z Excavation for review of a site plan that proposes to add material storage to the property, which was previously allowed by a past recorded site plan. The applicant proposes to continue the existing uses of contract yard, professional office space, and retail business. The property is located at 22 Old Road, Tax Map 29, Lot 40, in the Industrial Zoning District. The property owner of record is Tormeo Industries, Inc. If the application is found to be complete, the planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing. So I move to accept the application for amended site plan as noted in legal notice PB 2509 for the property located at 22 Old Road, Tax Map 29, Lot 40, in the Industrial 1 zoning district as completed. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, seconded by Ms. Robinson. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Right. Motion passes 5-0-0. Right.
it wouldn't open the original file, so just had to reload it again.
Fair enough. For the record, just state your name.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Michael Malinowski with Allen and Major Associates. Sort of following up to our conceptual meeting that we had a few weeks back. We are looking at the property at 22 Old Road. It was the old ProQuip site. J&Z Excavation wishes to move into this space, and one of the things that they would like to do is add a material storage area as shown in the blue. That area had been deemed material storage in a previous approved and recorded site plan of the town. The most latest one had removed it from the sort of gravel laydown area. What we're proposing to do is simply put it back. One of the things that we did add in this sort of outskirts area is a row of erosion control. So if they do have stockpiles there, if they happen to not be in sort of a bin area, that at least that area is protected from any runoff.
Okay. I think I kind of lost you a little bit with respect to what you're intending to put there. It just, I couldn't hear.
Material storage.
Yeah.
So most likely it's bark mulch and maybe some gravel. I don't suspect, not quite sure whether they will actually have the bin blocks set up that they can scoop to. But that area is, the whole area is all gravel and flat. So we're just trying to get that use put back in.
Could you orient me to where on this map relative to, let's say, I mean, this is on,
So Old Road is up here
okay, Old Road's there.
at the top. And then this sort of spine road is that's the public road that runs through there.
That's where the old Planet Fitness used to be
Yes.
located, I think.
Right at the end. Yep. I think that road now is what, Brickyard or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, Brickyard Lane.
So relative to where the abutting property where Planet Fitness used to be established,
I think
that's
that's up
where
here.
you're putting the storage area in the back, or proposed putting it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's at the back of so all these properties front 125. So it's the back of house for all of those
Yeah.
businesses there.
Brickyard, is that a town road? Or is it
It's Town Road.
it is a town?
Yep.
Okay.
Back road.
And then that goes down to so that's the bottom of our property. It abuts Little River. The Brickyard continues down here. There's an intersection and then goes out to a light out to 125.
In that storage area, can you just go back to that?
Yep.
So the erosion control sits there,
Yes.
which is Little River's downslope.
It's down off of this page.
Yeah.
There is sort of a drainage sort of course that runs through here that's part of so when Brickyard was built, that has closed drainage, catch basins and structures in it, and it discharges down to this area here, which then flows down to Little River.
Little River, yeah.
Yep. So the erosion control is more of a belt and suspenders kind of thing.
Yeah, because you already have that
Right.
basin.
Yeah.
What size trucks are going in and out of here?
They typically run, it's just a regular dump truck. They're not running full.
Like a triaxle?
I don't even think it's a triaxle.
Okay.
The trailer loads, I think they're all running just a small dual axle type of thing.
Okay.
I would have to think the way they would come in would be off of 125 where that
Yes.
set of lights are.
Absolutely.
Because if you went up further and went to Old Road, they'd never be able to make that turn.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And so the beauty is, at least if you get down there, there's no residential.
Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
You know, it's just more trucks getting dumped onto, you know,
Well,
coming out the
previous
back way
tenant,
to
Pro-
Old
ProQuip
Road.
has
Yeah,
some
so they
pretty
go
big
there and they
stuff.
go
Well,
right back out.
the stuff that ProQuip had is way bigger than
Way
what.
bigger.
Oh,
these guys.
I know, but still, we're in a probably, the town's really looking at traffic calming on 121. So
Yeah.
probably a different world now than it was then.
Yeah.
But you're right, that all runs down to 125. That's.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's where they would come in and out of. You have the
Yeah.
set of lights right there.
Yeah, and even though we're keeping sort of the small retail component, he's looking to sell bark mulch. So he's not nearly going to have the retail traffic
Right.
that ProQuip had.
Yep.
So, and not to mention the size of equipment that's going to be running in there either.
And if anybody leaving there was going south, 125 was definitely the way they'd be going.
Yeah. Take advantage of the light.
So in terms of like the bark mulch, that you might have like stage there. I mean, how much at any given time do you think?
It's unclear.
Yeah.
I don't have that specific, but that's a pretty big area. If I don't suspect he's going to fill that entire square with bark mulch.
How approximately how large is that area?
So that's probably 100 by 100. Those parking stalls next to it are 10 by 10 or 10 by 20. So it's probably 60 by 80. It's a pretty big area.
Shay, just a question. Given the fact that we're looking to operate off of the existing site plan that's here, I mean, are we able to add a note of any kind onto this site plan that's not already on here?
I believe that the board could request to do that. We'll just want to make sure we include that.
Yeah, so it's not, so there's nothing that'd be mechanically prohibited from doing that. Okay.
Yeah, if we could definitely add a note to the plan because the intent is the plan will go in your file.
Mhm.
If there's a specific note that you guys want to see, we'll add it to the plan. We should also make sure that we add it to the decision because the decision is the piece that will actually get recorded at the registry. So that'll be the one that'll be.
Yeah, the good thing is that road too, I don't think it's used that much anymore with Planet Fitness gone.
No.
So a lot of that traffic's gone. That used to be fairly busy when Planet Fitness was back there.
I'm sure that somebody will be filling in at some point in time. But
Yeah.
you're correct, though. It's
Unless-
definitely,
Yeah.
you're definitely
Well, I
right.
guess what I'm thinking is that, do we want, I mean, would your client,
else?
would your client be amenable to, something saying like, no right-hand turns out of the business? If the idea that,
That would
we're
mean
not-
they'd have to go left and have to go to 125.
Yeah, no exiting Old Road to Old Road.
I suppose you could go from Old Road down.
I mean, you could limit, say, just commercial vehicles not taking the right turn. There's somebody in a pickup truck going down by Bogwell.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's right.
A
That-
pickup
that
truck
would
is
be
no,
the-
that's like a regular vehicle.
Yeah.
and I'm.
Yeah, if we did want, say, commercial or construction equipment
Right.
going out that way.
Right.
Yeah, they just gotta take a left and then up to 125 and then go
Yeah.
north to south.
Probably should write.
Yeah, I think a note like that would
Yeah, I
make some
agree.
sense. And it's not restricting. A
Yeah,
fair amount.
it's not restricting the retail sort of sale
Right,
piece.
right,
coming.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, because if someone's in a pickup, they can
Just scoot
go
out.
any way they want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The big trucks aren't going to take that right anyway.
No, and they're
No,
gonna.
No,
Yeah.
because
But
then if you gotta go,
they
with
won't
the-
make
you
it.
go
What are you
like
gonna
where
do?
Old Road is,
Yeah, it's too
that's
tight.
not a turn for a truck.
No.
Yeah.
Put it in for our reasons.
Yeah, there are a couple of places in town. we
What-
need that
what's
white
our-
sign up
what's-
again.
What's our limits on, like Sweet Hill and Morris? Is it 12,000 pound gross vehicle
truck.
weight?
That's it.
I should know. I see the signs every day.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
I never knew what it was exactly.
I walk it every day, so I should know it.
Yeah, right. Trust me, I drive it every day and I'm thinking, I think it says 12,000. Something like that, which still leaves
fairly good-sized vehicles can travel on it, but bigger ones can't.
Is that something that you think is reasonable?
I think
or-
it's reasonable.
I mean, we don't want to just,
Yeah,
Bigfoot
I
anyone's
think
business
I'd be
plan.
more concerned if there wasn't a very nice lighted intersection
Right.
going out the other way, right out to 125. So you're not really precluding sort of movements in front of their site.
No, it's the perfect way to get out. It is.
Correct,
It is.
correct.
And that's not
It's not
our,
done.
our concern, or my concern is really larger trucks spilling back into the.
Correct, correct. And I think that's something that I think they would be agreeable to.
Won't hurt.
Anyone else on the board have any additional questions or? I guess area of times of operation, just to reiterate it, if anyone's watching. What are we looking at for like your business?
I think their
Operations.
business, I mean, we've got it listed on the plan as 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. They may have some limited hours on Saturday if they were selling bark mulch.
Yeah, if someone might pick up, yeah, it
Yeah.
makes sense. You do it on a day off.
Nothing else from anyone on the board? Dan?
Good.
Nope.
Good to go? All right. Do you want to just work on, I mean, do we want to just flesh out what we want for maybe like a note or a condition? Just indicating like no right turn, out of business for commercial trucks in excess of 12,000 pounds? Or do we want to just say
Oh, it's
commercial
consistent
trucks?
with what we have already on
Already,
this
right.
street things. Why struggle, you know?
Yeah, just add it to the application approval.
All right, so I move to approve the application for amended site plan as noted in the legal notice PB 2509 for the property located 22 Old Road, tax map 29, lot 40 in the Industrial 1 zoning district. The following condition, that no right turns out of the business for commercial trucks in excess of 12,000 pounds. Be added to
12,000 pounds gross vehicle weight.
12,000 pounds gross vehicle weight. Do I have a second?
Second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 500.
Sorry, who's the second?
Ms. Robinson is,
The official seconder.
yes.
Secondary.
She's the quickest seconder in the West.
You could use the word quickness on me anymore.
All right, just for the record, we're going to note that the amended site plan will be signed by the chair and maintained in the planning department record files. The notice of decision will be recorded at the Rockingham County Registry of Deeds. All right. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck.
Just a quick second to. All right, next on the agenda, PB 25-10, the completeness of an application from Brian Cormier for consideration of a condominium conversion application. The application proposes to convert an existing duplex into condominium form of ownership. The property is located at 15 Autumn Circle, tax map 66, Lot 017-002-001 in the LDR zoning district. The property owner of record is 15 Autumn Circle Realty Trust. The application is found to be complete. The planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing.
Really?
Where's the applicant?
Yeah.
What's that?
Where's the applicant?
Yeah, I know. Well, before we accept it as complete, do we know if we heard anything about the applicant showing, not showing, intending not to show, or looking
I
for
have not
continuance?
heard.
Or
The applicant.
Oh, that's
No.
not a good start.
um,
Awful lot of work to do and not show up.
yeah. So, well, we could accept it as we can move to accept it as complete, and then
Yeah, I
No.
guess I don't know this one. I don't know the answer to this one. Well, because you're accepting the application, you immediately, you just start the clock ticking.
Right.
I'm really surprised.
I mean, I will tell you, I think this is a fairly straightforward one. So
Yeah,
it's not
it's-
looking
it's
to
kinda-
delay anything. But
well, it's just like, if we're going to talk about it, we should
Yeah.
probably accept it. So let's say I move to accept the application for the 2-unit condominium conversion at 15 Autumn Circle be accepted as complete. Do I have a second or not?
Yeah, I'll second.
Bill. All right. Any discussion on?
We
the
have a
completeness?
discussion now?
Yes, we can have a discussion now. So in the context of it being
yeah,
complete.
I don't think there's a lot of dispute as to whether the application is complete, The question for me is
Where's the applicant?
was the applicant. And I also, did a little bit of digging. I reviewed the condo documents. I'm struggling to see why we have to have the town review condo
Right, so in the
documents.
so in the context of completeness,
Yeah.
I think there was a note of whether or not the condominium documents need to be reviewed by legal. So, we can.
Well, here,
So I think what we're talking about is whether or not it's complete, and if there's more discussion on it, then we'll vote whether or not it's complete to accept it as complete.
yeah, no, I mean, all of this surrounds completeness,
Okay.
It's just if we're saying that we need legal review and we don't have legal review, then there is a notion of completeness.
Okay.
So my concern is, is legal review, even though it's required in our subdivision regulations, what's the point here? So you have condo documents that are between two, will be between two amongst private parties. Okay. There's no question of zoning. There's no question. You got a plan that's well done on a site that wasn't reviewable by us in the beginning because it's residential use under a duplex. The condo conversion makes it reviewable by us right now. Question is how involved do we want to go on something that's fairly straightforward? It comes down to what's legal, what's our council going to do?
Right, so basically, you say the requirement is coming from our subdivision
Correct.
requirements that we would be conducting this review. Right, so whether or not,
And that's not an RSA, that's ours. We
Yes.
put that in there,
Okay.
And so the Attorney General looks at condo conversions, their Consumer Protection Division, for obvious reasons. They don't even start looking at any that's a requirement starting at 10 units and above. So anything under 10, they don't even look at. They don't have to be registered with the Attorney General. So okay, then what's our, concern over and above that, especially, and I drove by these, they're sitting right on Autumn Circle. They're ready to go, they're for sale right now. Shay, there were no tenants in these, right? Or at least I don't see that anywhere in the documents.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. Because that's the only other thing. Tenants are required 120 day, by law, 120-day notice. So if there's no tenants,
You don't have to worry about that either.
Right, so then the question is whether or not, there should be some sort of legal review, not, and if we, that would be something that we could actually waive if we wanted to, if it seems like it's just sort of gratuitous.
Well, but we should have an applicant here in front of us asking us to waive it.
Right.
The other thing.
And we're
is
not going to
when-
get involved in disputes between two neighbors.
Co- co-
And that's what could potentially happen with
Correct.
this when I
Yeah, where
look
are the
at it.
abutters?
Well, and I get it if there
But
was
that's not
town
us.
water, town sewer, we had we had all that stuff to kind of take into consideration. We don't in this case,
It's-
Yeah.
Right.
You know what?
Yes.
Remember the builder that's doing the ones up
Well,
on,
In the context of talking about this application as being.
but that's what I'm talking about. Wasn't he going to put duplexes in there and then have the road out around back of us?
yeah, but that's a
totally
different,
different?
that's a different,
Yeah.
yeah, different,
Okay.
different
All right.
applicant.
Yeah, these homes have been here for a while.
Yep.
And
The
basically what-
duplexes have.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they're not
yeah,
there.
they've been,
but they were newer.
no, they've been there for a while. So basically it's,
Okay.
I think, if I read it right, it's one owner that owns both units.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all what he wants to do now is just each unit will have its own owner.
Well,
Yeah.
That's really it.
if you go by them, they're either brand spanking new or brand spanking renovated.
Renewed.
Renovated.
They're renewed.
They look new
They
to
must
me.
be
They're renewed.
renovated.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so in terms of completeness, then, there's a question about whether or not we want to require some sort of legal review on our part, or if the applicant were here, we'd be able to discuss whether or not that'd be something that could be waived.
Should we check the front doors? I've been here before where they've been locked if they were on a timer. I know they were unlocked when I got in today, so I don't mind. I can go down and just check. As a
Fair
courtesy,
enough.
I
So,
guess.
yes, so.
Yeah, just to
Right,
make
so-
sure he's
so
not
we'll-
locked out.
We'll hold our voting whether or not it's going to be complete to see if there's not an applicant at the door. And
Or maybe he's lost.
And what do you do when you don't have an
We don't have an
applicant in front
applicant.
of you?
We've never had that.
Have an application.
Karen, I don't remember not having one in there, to be honest with you.
we've had applicants that have come in and said right off that they, that's been transmitted to us that, oh, we'd like
Right,
to
but-
immediately
but at
continue
least-
it.
But at least
they've been
somebody's
walked
been
through the door.
No, I mean, I think we had one that wasn't here.
Oh.
It was asking for an immediate continuance if we said it was complete.
But at least a message or something,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's nothing
Right.
here.
Maybe it's something to do with the sirens we heard. Hopefully not.
All right, well, if we want to conduct it, we have two options. We vote on whether or not it's complete. If you don't think it's complete and the applicant ought to be here, then, what does that look like, Shay?
Well, so you have accepted the application as complete for jurisdictional purposes, so
Yeah.
that's been done.
Well, we haven't voted on it yet.
Right.
Haven't voted on
No.
it. Gotcha. So everything that was required to be submitted with the application paperwork wise has been submitted.
Right.
So then all that stuff is in. It's just a matter of whether we continue it or not, probably, right, at this point?
Maybe he
But
didn't
just for
think
the
he had
record,
to be
but
here.
just for the record, I think,
He didn't even he had
I
to be
think
here.
that, if the applicant wasn't going to be here, it should have been communicated
He
to
should have
us
told us.
from the applicant. I'm not
Yep.
saying anything about the planning department. I mean, there were questions about, what do we do about a legal review? And as, to what Mr. Kane was saying, that the applicant really should be talking about requesting a waiver if they're looking for us to waive some aspect of our site plan
Well, yeah, I mean,
subdivision requirements.
I think there's virtually, I just don't want to establish any precedents,
Right.
but I think there's virtually, no risk here in accepting the application as complete and then getting the applicant to come here for the October 15th meeting.
Right, so.
And then he might,
Practice of this, though.
we might be able to, address that fairly quickly.
Right.
I agree.
Any other input before we vote? All right, so all in favor of accepting the application as complete? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? All right, so 500. And
Save this.
we'll be continuing the app PB 2510 to October 15th. This is the only notification of continuance. No additional written communication will be forthcoming. All right.
Do you have to open the public hearing to continue it?
No.
We accepted it.
Yeah, I think you have to open up, you have to
Public
open the
hearing.
public hearing to
Alright.
continue.
And then vote to continue it?
Right.
Well, I can vote, I can continue it. once.
Okay, okay, yeah.
So we've accepted as
Open it.
complete. I'll open the public hearing for PB 25-10 at 7:03 and continue it to October 15th. That'll be the only notification with respect to this public hearing. All right.
I didn't realize you
Thank you.
had all these absolute powers.
It's not quite plenary powers, but it's close enough. All right. So is that something that we would communicate to the applicant, that we're kind of looking for them and that, that
Yeah, you should.
we'll see them maybe on October 15th?
Yeah, I can reach out to the
All right.
applicant and communicate that to them.
Cool beans.
Okay.
All right. All right, just so I don't forget, I think before I'm going to maybe go out of order a little bit here. It looks like we have a memorandum with respect to 5 Rose Ave, with respect to
What was that?
construction bond. So,
This isn't the one I was talking to you about. was it?
no, 5 Rose Ave is, what are we looking at there?
It's, that's Dwayne Schofield.
Schofield.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna get rid of what's dilapidated there and
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
and spruce it up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so you have a spreadsheets attached to it,
Yep.
and this has been reviewed, I believe, by our engineering consultant, Keach Nordstrom and Associates.
I think he actually does the calculation for us.
All right, so this is pretty much just perfunctory that we're looking to just sort of.
Yeah, the work with the worksheets attached.
So I move to set the construction bond for 5 Rose Ave project at $11,595.10, which is 10% of the bond estimate worksheet amount of $115,951 as reviewed by Keach Nordstrom Associates. Do I have a second?
Second it.
All right. Second by Karen. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? It's 5-0-0. All right. Next on the agenda is going to talk about the board legal counsel. Okay. Just to recap, our current legal counsel is, notified us that they're conflicted out and will not be representing the planning board going forward. We had asked, our legal counsel to provide us with recommendations for legal counsel that we could reach out to and so the board could have some sort of engagement with them. To that end, there were two options that were presented to us. One, not taking on any new clients, and the subsequent one of them was, let me see, Mitchell Municipal Group was the other one.
Yep.
There was another, and we've since at least reached out, sort of engaged them with some sort of preliminary conversation. If they had some sort of availability, bandwidth to support us and such. And we did also reach out to BCM Environmental Land and Law. This particular law firm, BCM Environmental Land and Law, you should see both letters of engagement in your folders that they provided us. BCM Environmental Law was before the ZBA with respect to a ZBA filing that where an applicant was looking for a variance. Right, and so that was the basis of reaching out and speaking to this, whether or not BCM Environmental Law would be in a position to take us on as a client.
Right.
Right. So I set up a Zoom call with both Mitchell Municipal Group and BCM Environmental. They provided their engagement and their fee schedules with respect to the services that they're providing. I think Mitchell Law Group, you'll see, also I asked them specifically if they had done any type of arguments in front of the New Hampshire Supreme Court. They provided a rather extensive list, maybe about 53 different cases that they argued in front of New Hampshire Supreme Court. Interestingly enough, one of them, number 48, involved the Plastow Planning Board. No, actually the Board of Selectmen arguing the Zoning Board of Adjustments in town, a decision that they made in granting a variance. Right. So, and I believe at one point or another, if we go back far enough, Mitchell Municipal Group at PA actually did represent the planning board in some, or some boards in town in some
I
capacity.
think sometime in 2015-ish, give or
It was
take.
back in the teens.
Okay.
I looked at it.
I think my intent, tonight is that we talked to we spoke to the principals in these law firms. I think, you can see in terms of their billing. I mean, you can do a side-by-side comparison if you want, in terms of what they're billing for. The only nuance, let's say, of BCM, they are requiring, a $2,000 retainer upfront.
Right.
Right. Whereas Mitchell Municipal Group does not. All right. You'll see that Mitchell Municipal Group has indicated that they would freeze their legal fee and expense menu for 2026. So these numbers would be honored for 2026. I mean, they're currently looking to reassess their fees, but for purposes of prospectively of us engaging with them, they would freeze those rates. The engagement letters are at will. I mean, we could end the association for cause or without cause, right? And that would be effective immediately for either one. So.
Good.
Dan, do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the Zoom call for both. I am more familiar with Attorney Manzelli, just because the amount of work she does with agriculture. So I had some, not direct experience with her, I've never met her, but I'm very familiar with some of the clients she has represented. And she's extremely bright, fairly even keeled. And in our conversations that came across, fairly directly. And that
One of the clients that she's representing, just for context,
she represented the farm in Newfield, Vernon Family Farms.
Okay.
That had a fair amount of problems that seemed to have been resolved, based a lot on the work that she had done. And I did witness her presentation, her organization in front of the current ZBA on the matter related to the parking lot, and thought that, this was someone who was organized and well-versed in just straight land use. So I think as my assessment was, both of these attorneys are extremely technically proficient.
Yep.
But, in terms of the conversations with Laura Morgan, what I was impressed with was just the breadth, the Supreme Court experience. Not that I hope to ever be in front of the Supreme Court with the planning board, but it's nice to know we'd have someone with some bench strength. But I was most comfortable with, she has a strong working relationship with DTC, which is counsel to the town. And she's well-known, I think, to Eric Mayer. And, I think that's a plus in that there should be some connectivity and working relationship between planning board counsel and town council,
Just to amplify that, I mean, she was recommended by, our previous legal counsel. All right. So in that sense, professionally, we're being, presented this as a competent
Which
firm
one was this one?
that they're going to attach their
Laura Morgan.
reputation to.
Mitchell.
And the third attorney who elected was Cordell Johnson, who's like the elder statesman of land use lawyers in the state of New Hampshire. He's won multiple awards from the Bar Association, everything. He's worked, extremely close with the New Hampshire Municipal Association. So I will tell you, just using the vernacular, we were talking to the varsity, not the JV in terms of law firms. So, I think when it comes down to it, I would lean personally from chatting with both to Attorney Morgan. That would be my.
Who's Morgan with?
She's
From Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Laura Morgan.
Okay, because what I was going to say is I did some research and I spoke to a few people on this.
Yeah.
And out of the different people I spoke with, everybody sided with Mitchell. That's where, and I didn't hear nobody said the other way. That's where everybody was going.
Yeah.
Because I went out, did my own research,
Yeah.
and to talk, and that's where it came down on.
Yeah, I mean, to be, my reaction is, I was very much impressed by, Laura Morgan's presentation.
Right.
Very professional. Again, I think, I just threw it out whether or not, like, have you argued in front of the New Hampshire Supreme Court and 47 cases later, that says something to me, that because not all land use lawyers,
Have had the
they'll
experience.
either, if you're doing it on, let's say, the non-municipal side, they might just specifically practice in front of, let's say, Superior Court.
Right, and we didn't ask for RFQs, which would have been nice to have had on both of them. But what they had both sent in, I thought the Mitchell one was a little more complete as well.
So in terms of request for proposal, I'm just going to say that I think a legal firm is something that you want to have a relationship with. And it's not like ordering a pallet of bricks.
No, but
So-
it's just RFQ.
Yeah.
Usually is what's done, but
I think we should do it.
my opinion though, from everyone I talked to, like I said, it would be Mitchell. That's where I would.
BCM law,
would go.
just to finish on that one, BCM law, I'll say that I was impressed watching how, she comported herself in front of the ZBA. All right,
Yep,
I
she
kind
did.
of,
She did an excellent job.
liked it in the sense that at one point, whether or not it's theater or not, but it was good theater.
good.
When she presented the volunteered
It is more expensive.
volunteered stock language for the correct decision that might help the board move forward. I thought that was
There was another thing.
it was a
too.
favorite highlight of mine. Yes.
The other thing was too, when I looked at where they're from too, because you're gonna have to look in where they specifically go.
Mhm.
And that one with the
Which one?
BCM.
Yep.
Their offices are in Keene, Concord, and then over to Norwich, Vermont. That's totally different from over here where they're also from the north, but they come down to us, that
Yeah.
way.
Laconia. Amy
Yeah.
Manzelli practices out of Concord, so it's.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that would be her.
Yeah.
Okay.
But both of them did indicate that, their preference would be, that they would show up if they need to show up. They would, represent in Superior Court or in front of like some sort of board activity. And, Zoom, when you're going to Zoom, if it's appropriate, not everything is appropriate for someone to
Right.
travel down and just
No.
sit when you can do it
I know.
over. You had a question, Mr. Pelletier?
I'm looking at both of the hourly rates. There's a difference between the two, and I know that doesn't correlate. Essentially, the least expensive isn't when it comes to representation, doesn't mean that they're the best or, vice versa, But my question is where do these numbers fall with our previous council? Are they in line with that? Are they less or are they more or
I think previous council is a little bit higher,
than both of these?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. But not, closer to Manzel's rates than to Morgan's.
Nothing crazy.
No.
Lawyers aren't cheap.
Any
No,
other thoughts on the?
Again, after chatting with both of them, I think we weren't going to go wrong with either one of them in my view, but I think Morgan gives us a little more, a little more power.
Yeah,
I think the relationship with the town is important, with town
I do too,
council.
now that it's also.
Well, to me, it's certainly an element, but they are right. And
Yep.
past experience with the town also weighed
Very good.
in the way I was thinking. But yeah, I don't dispute that, but I'm really zeroed in on getting good, independent, representation for the
Right,
planning.
for the
Yep.
planning board. Right.
Yep, from like I said, who I talked to, I'd be willing to say okay with Mitchell tonight.
Okay. So would I.
Yeah. me too.
Well, just, housekeeping then. Just for purposes of, I'll make a motion, that to, and we'll just say, for purposes, we'll pick one. And so in this case, for the motion, and you will vote either yes or no. All right. And if that motion carries and isn't like split or something like that, or fails, then, we'll consider that the board chooses to move forward with that one that we made a motion on. All right. And then subsequent to that, for purposes of signing the letter of engagement, both of them, I'll ask again, from procedural, that the board votes to empower the chairman to sign on behalf of the board the letter of engagement.
Yep.
All right. So that way, let's say if the motion fails, then we'll propose the next one. And if that one failed, then we'll discuss whatever that means and I'll go forward. But
Then you become a lawyer.
Right. So let me see, how do we want to? I propose that the planning board engage legal services with Mitchell Municipal Group, PA, and empower the chairman, if passed, empower the chairman to sign on behalf of the board the letter of engagement
Yep.
for Mitchell Municipal Group, PA. Do I have a second?
Second it.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Well, any discussion on the subject? No? All right. Opposed? Abstain? All right, so the motion passes 5-0. The planning board will engage with Mitchell Municipal Group. And today is the 17th.
Yep.
And- Okay. All right. So, and I guess procedurally then, we'll transmit this to Mitchell, the Mitchell Municipal Group, also, for the planning department and also for, town manager and such. All right, because at least, I guess the understanding then, we need to talk about how, let's say, invoices are handled. We should probably review invoices, prior to, dispatching them to be paid and such. So we can discuss the mechanics of that. perhaps later.
You'll have to, because if you're gonna review the invoices here, which you should have a look at to make sure that they're good, or somebody should, is what the payment schedule would be, because sometimes it depends on how the meetings go. And an invoice may have to go, because if you have a week, like a month where there's 5 weeks, you may not meet for 3 weeks,
Right.
and that might be late. So that would mean someone would have to check on it.
Yeah, and then there's also the question too, is if there's any type of like privileged communications that might be in those invoices and such, right? And at least in talking to both attorneys, they did discuss sort of a mechanism of, providing two invoices. One, if there was privileged information, it'd be the appropriate redactions. and such.
Typically, that's how
Yeah.
in municipalities, typically you get a summary invoice. And that's what you're paying from. And the detail sits in the privileged area.
All right. All right. I got not much, but it's just a bunch of, well, actually, no. Old business will kind of just be sort of a grab bag here. You should have all got a copy of the RPC. Finally, we have an executed contract of RPC. So, we're in business now with RPC, so we should probably, if we're looking at probably something like 10 hours a month and things like that, we should probably get a strategy down how best to sort of exploit that relationship, profitably, in terms of, let's say, master plan and things, master plan type of support going forward. So,
And that contract's good until June 30th.
yep.
It doesn't expire at the calendar year. It goes to June 30th.
Now, mechanism-wise, are we going to have to, like, you're crossing
You're gonna have to put that second part in
Yeah.
the budget.
for 2026.
Yeah.
Are we just sort of going to
Yeah.
impound that money or whatever the terminology is for it?
I started the draft and I have it in there as, ending in June 30th, but a piece of it,
Yeah, if you
You'll have to
use
encumber.
less than you expect, then that's a little bit more to go to June
Right.
30th, so.
right?
I didn't get this one.
Yeah, and the end of the year kind of gets slow a little bit.
Yeah,
with the holidays.
but in terms of like whatever's contractually there, if we don't,
Yes.
we have to at least,
Encumber the money.
encumber, that's the word I'm
Yes.
looking for, impound, encumbering. So we'd have to encumber that portion that's in 2026.
But the only way we can do that is through the budget, correct?
Yes, I think
Okay.
so. Never done that, so this is,
So I think you would need to come to the select board.
Greg
to
will
ask
just,
us
what'll happen is usually our last meeting in December,
Mhm,
Greg will have a list of what needs to be encumbered
right.
for the selectmen and we'll vote to encumber.
Right,
That's how,
right,
that's how
okay,
that.
right, on that stuff.
So you don't have to come in for that. There'll just be a list that we'll have,
What needs to be
Yeah,
set
all
aside.
right.
because we have to encumber before the end of the year.
December 31st.
December 30th.
So it'll be done at the last meeting.
All right.
So
So,
let me just ask a dumb question. So you're encumbering for the period between January 1st and town meeting, right?
No, it'd be whatever, because it gives you the full year to spend it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I thought it was to cover the hole in the donut, so to speak, between.
No, because it's like when we did over on Westville Road,
Yeah,
we encumbered that money and that didn't get done until what, maybe
Yeah.
June, I think it
Yeah.
was?
no, I get it. I get it.
yeah. So it's set aside.
Yeah,
all right.
So, yeah, it'd be outside of the budget.
So I'll call RPC and just sort of, kind of get a sense of what what their flexibility is. If we're looking at doing master plan support and things like that, maybe, a strategy session, then that could be, a lot of that maybe doesn't have to be handled, let's say, as a planning board, because from what I understand, they might have coverage issues, right? And they're looking for a little flexibility. Maybe we do it, see what that date is, and we do it as a master plan subcommittee, at least to see, have those initial meetings and things like that. In terms of RPC news, I'm told that one of our RPC commissioners, the alternate, Daryl Brenton, is up. I think we pushed that to next meeting to kind of, because I have some questions that the RPC about like what the term dates are for the other commissioners. I believe that's going to be Tim Moore and Jay DeRoche is so. I was told that they would, get those dates back to me. I haven't seen them yet, so I figured that we can kind of have that discussion next workshop. Anything else from anyone that I might be? Okay.
Impact fees.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you look at the definition in the RSA of impact fees, it's broader than what we have right now in town. And they just passed legislation this year which added to what a town can charge impact fees for so-called public works facilities. So right now, the only public facilities that we have in the impact fee calculation is the public safety complex. You know, we have roads, but we don't necessarily have the public works facilities. Also, water's in there, sewer. I think it's, you know, and this was in the context of the zoning, the zoning ordinance, is we should give consideration to like maybe broadening, what those fees would be, and what we could charge. And it's also in the context of our planning board fees. Those haven't been adjusted since 2018. And the cost of living has gone up 26% in that period. So,
I didn't notice.
yeah. My lettuce weighs lighter and costs more. So, and again, this is more food for thought. I started to put together a schedule, but impact fees, I just noticed definitionally, is do we want to give some consideration to creating as big a pocket as we can?
Well, I mean, right now, we did a request for proposal to update the safety, whatever the calculations
Yeah,
or
so that's a
assessments.
development category. Then you go into, okay,
You're
what do
talking
you
about
got?
expanding it,
The components of
Yeah.
that, not changing the residential, the commercial, that,
adding a new.
is matching the definition to what is permitted through the RSA. And right now it's limited. And this is, my view here is 125 is, people want to live here, people want to build here, people want to develop businesses here, because 125 is attractive, in that sense. Some of us, people may look at it differently, but it's attractive in the sense is we built all this infrastructure, it sits there. We've got a disproportionately large police force. We've got a disproportionately large fire because of 125 and the challenges that places on the town. So in my view, we should be looking at all our development fees, if you will, and making sure they're at least current, and not exorbitant by any stretch of the imagination, but at least including, we just started our own water. We're going to expand that, at some point in time, are you going to be looking at waste, at least maybe down 125, we should be in a position that, if we're going to see more and more development, I think, we should be seeing a little bit more contribution in the sense, or at least definitionally, we have the right to look at that. So,
All right.
and you're going to end up having to do that through the zoning ordinance, through the definition of the fees. So food for thought, maybe for the next work session, we can decide whether that makes sense or not.
All right. Well, why don't we then, talk about that?
Yeah,
our work.
I'll put together a
Yeah.
little something, but
Now,
like a
to kind of-
paragraph.
to kind of spin off that,
I'll believe it when I see it.
I know, you believe when I can only write one paragraph. I agree.
I was going to say, we'll see.
Maybe I'll take my meds before I write.
On that note, since we talk about impact fees, and which is a natural segue into CIP, all right?
So right now, I have refrained from calling a meeting because I haven't seen the departmental things, and all we have before us is the document from last year. So once we get that, I shot off a quick, email to Doug, and I think he and I are on the same page as to once we get that in front of us, we can.
Now, I did send Bill, I think I CC'd you on it,
Yes, I
to
saw
Greg, because, I did ask that whatever department heads, whatever input that they're looking to have into CIP, they should be, directing it to CIP chairman, Dan, so they can use it to do the preparatory work that he needs to do to schedule a productive CIP meeting. So I haven't heard anything back. I assume that it's just a matter of an email going out to all department heads saying that, information for CIP needs to be forwarded to the following people. So,
Bill and Liz, have you heard of anything coming down the pike? Is there anything big hanging out there that we,
There isn't. I think most of the stuff is already what's kind of on there.
okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of anything new.
no rumbles about an engine that has $20,000 worth of electrical work done on it.
Well, I mean, that stuff's already in the CIP anyways.
Yeah.
All those engines are in the CIP anyways.
All right.
Okay, so at least there's,
Could we at least send the spreadsheet out to the members of the CIP committee so we can look at it while we're waiting?
oh, sure.
I think there's just one outstanding, I think we had the
Always did
CIP,
that. when I was
we've had the CIP committee information updated on the planning website, except, and I'm just going to say that we're missing an alternate position on the budget committee. All right, so I've, emailed the BudCom chair.
The document's uploaded on the website.
Is it on the website? I haven't poked around
I
in
believe
a
so.
couple
Yeah.
weeks, so
But I haven't, I'll be happy to send it.
it doesn't matter.
It does matter. It's an important document. It's a foundational document.
Thanks.
Okay.
So,
Anything else that I think for next meeting, I think there are a couple things that will probably be sent out after this meeting. We just didn't want them to sort of overstep what we had sent out.
That's a few things.
Yeah. There'll be something again, we want to do like a master, the housing section needs to be reviewed just to make sure that it needs to be updated. So you'll have the current version and then the proposed or purported edited version. And we just need to see that changes are there and that they're not the same document. If they are, then that's a matter of that we can just dispatch it next meeting.
But that, we haven't received that yet, though, right?
Yeah, that'll be sent out after this
Okay, I
meeting,
just
just so
wanna
that
make
it's not, just kind of crashing into this meeting. Was there another one that I said that I wanted to?
Yep, the NHDOT correspondence.
Yes.
About the traffic.
All right, so back in the day, New Hampshire Department of Transportation had sent out an email soliciting input this year from, various boards. The Planning Board was one of them. Conservation Commission was another one. Conservation Commission provided some input and recommendations. Asking that it's going to be resent to us so that we can look at it and we can talk about whether or not the Planning Board wants to sort of provide that input that, that probably should come from the Planning Board. So that'll be something that you're going to see in your inboxes.
Well,
after this
I
meeting.
sent you what I.
Yes,
did
I
that down.
forwarded
Okay.
it to Shay, and we just, it'll be coming after this meeting. So you have something, Karen?
Yes, well, the first thing I'd like to bring up when we're talking about signs, no left turn or whatever it is, with CAT. A sign was knocked down. I don't know if they've replaced it. But
Okay.
there was a few big things that went left.
Yeah, so you're saying it was probably a notice, it was probably a note or something that was on the site plan that said that there should be a posted sign that
There
no
has to
left-hand
be a
turns.
sign there, and
Yeah.
it's not there right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
At least I
Where
didn't
is
see
this?
anybody replace it.
Where is it?
But somebody knocked it down. There was
So
one.
where? Where?
Oh,
Milton Cat coming
yeah,
out onto
coming
Main
out
Street.
onto Main Street
From,
from their lot.
I'm sorry, which lot? I missed that.
They're right in the corner,
Where
a lot.
Sanborn used
Where
to-
Sanborn
Where
used to be?
Sanborn used to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that
taking
mess.
Big of the
lefts out there.
sidewalk, you either go Main Street and come out. and go
Oh,
left or
I see.
Right takes you right to
Yeah.
125.
Yeah, so it looks like, I think there might have been a sign there, and it
There
didn't
was a
survive, it
sign.
didn't survive the winter, and so there should be a sign saying no left
Yep.
turns coming out onto Main Street.
And the other place was down here, the old Process Engineering. There has been some complaints now.
Is that, you're talking about Methuen,
Yes.
Methuen
that-
Construction
that
area?
group, yes. The trucks have been coming, and they've turned right. Trucks have turned right, and especially at the time the school is now letting kids
Okay.
out.
All right, so that's something that
The sign
we're
should be
saying
back
that
there.
that's perhaps something that was on as a notice of condition or a note on the
It
site
should
plan.
be,
We-
yes.
we- Well,
We did do that.
If it did, then it should be there, right, on the
Right.
site plan. So that was one of the
Exactly.
site plans I wanted to look at.
It's either on the site plan or it's not on the site plan.
Right.
But
But-
it has been there before.
But
No right turn.
so there also, I was told by a long-term Plastow resident that there used to be a sign coming out of Probark that you could,
Yes.
was right turn only.
Yes, yep.
And this is from
They never paid
a
attention to
current fireman in the town who told
Yep.
me that, when he was first,
So no right turn or no left turn?
no left turn, or right turn only, I
Yeah,
think
right
as he
turn
said.
only.
the
I don't
sign.
remember it, but then again, I never looked. for
Yeah,
it.
I don't remember either. So that's another site plan that I
Right,
at
so
least
if
was
if
gonna.
it's on the site plan, it's
Yeah,
got to be put
right.
up.
Yes.
The interesting thing coming through town property, that goes, the borders John's property.
Right.
Yep.
The question is if there isn't a sign, do we want to start, does the Board of Selectmen want to start thinking about maybe saying left turn only, coming out of there? I will tell you, as a resident of Main Street, truck traffic has gone up. I'm up very
Definitely.
early in the morning, and between 4:30 and 5:30 in the morning, I would say that truck traffic has doubled, and big
Also at
trucks.
night.
Yeah, I
You know,
mean,
4 to 5.
trust me,
same
I want
time.
everything on 125. I
Yeah.
don't want anything through the
Nope.
Yeah,
center of
and
town.
I get it. Businesses have to exist. We have
What
to
about
come to
North
some
Ave?
happy medium. Yeah,
What's that?
Okay, said, what about North Ave?
yeah.
I'm just curious where you're saying no left and right turns. I've been told several times before we don't have jurisdiction on North Ave and Main Street because they are controlled by the state.
North Ave isn't.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
That corner is, yeah.
Absolutely.
A
Yeah.
corner is, right?
No, the
No,
whole thing is
North
maintained.
Ave
The
is
whole
state
thing is
owned.
maintained
It's
by the
state
state.
owned.
Wow.
State owned. Same with Main Street. It's-
Main
it's-
Street for sure, because it's a New Hampshire
Yeah,
route.
and you
absolutely
got,
is.
and you got Kingston too.
North Ave is considered
Well,
125 Oxbow.
but you can restrict access leaving town property onto that street. Yeah,
Correct.
that's the regulation.
That's how we try to get the signs up.
And so I'm going to look at the site plans. I just want to see what's there. If something's there, then we should see about
All
enforcing
right,
it.
so
Hopefully it's on the site plan and then that's very simple.
No, I
So
realize
first
that.
order of business is then is just to inspect the
Let's go
site
back.
plans
I'll-
for
Process
those.
engineering one.
I need to get
Yeah.
that. I'm going to go do that. So
Okay.
I'll do that.
And so if it's, so if there is that exceptional case where there isn't one, but we have an easement, then we can,
Well,
maybe you don't need to talk.
Again, I
about
offer it. I don't know the perfect solution for that, but
Right.
it's just a conversation.
it. All right.
The only other point was landscaping on, that is on the plan, what was to be there. And they said, next spring, which was last spring, and this summer, which was, just the summer going by, nothing has been done.
What are they supposed to do that they're not
They're
doing?
supposed to, you're not supposed, when we go down Main Street like that and we look to the right,
Okay,
there's supposed to be trees all along there.
okay.
And the fence is just down here like this, so you can't even see the fence, but you see everything else. And the trees were supposed to start growing right along the whole fence.
So the
there.
trees haven't grown, is that, are the trees
They
there and just not
haven't-
grown?
The trees died.
Okay,
They might be
They
died, okay.
didn't redo them.
Okay, I don't drive, very rarely go down that road, so.
I don't that much, but I have been, so.
Okay,
See. But that is on the plan too.
enough to take a peek. I haven't noticed.
I mean, I will say one thing. If we're going to go start relooking at landscaping on pre-approved site plans,
It's on the plan.
no, I get it, but why are we picking on one?
You have to hit them all.
I'm going to tell you,
I'm telling them all.
well,
I'm picking all of them.
I'm telling you, if that's our standard, there's a fair amount that, are out there. If we're going to start doing
Remember
that.
what we did to the storage one. Now look what they've done. They redid theirs and it's beautiful. And that was on the plan. And they had to wait a year and then they did it.
Well,
The new
yeah,
storage.
so I just to make it a little more general and not specific. If there is landscaping is done. And I can't think of
I'm
what
very
the,
much for landscape.
I can't think of, like, if you put in something, you're obligated for a period of time to
Yep.
maintain it. In other words, you just can't put the trees in. Is it 5 years or, I think, is it 5?
Could be.
Yeah,
Could
so
be.
whatever, there's a
Couple
time,
places have done very well.
there's a
doing it on-
time duration on it that, if you put in a tree and the trees don't flourish, that they need to be replaced.
Right.
So,
Well, just as someone who's planted a fair amount of trees, I will tell you, the idea of just calling it a tree and just leaving it like that, like, if you want something to look crappy most of the year, plant a bunch of deciduous trees, They'll lose all the leaves in November. If you're looking for something that's more visually appealing,
actually
but
started with it.
it's going to be more expensive if that's the requirement.
Well, the
but we would
arborvitae's
have
is
to-
what they did.
Just give me 1 minute, Karen.
let me-
is then we would have to rewrite some of our subdivision and site plan regulations. If that's what we think is a valuable exercise here, because it's not that now.
no.
Unfortunately, trees take a while to grow too.
Mhm.
The arborvitae's do, and that's what they started with, but they didn't even make
All
it.
right.
They had like with this little tree.
Anything else? Anything else from anyone else? All right.
Okay,
then.
the other one, don't forget about Tim. Did we do that off camera?
Yes. If we want it to be.
Yeah. kind of.
What's the date of our next meeting? Know the date?
Is it October 1st?
I think
Okay.
it's like
If it's
isn't it?
October 1st, I'll be here.
The next
won't be
meeting
at
is what?
Well,
October
At one
3rd,
after, I won't be.
What's that?
October 3rd.
So
October 1st.
I think it's October
October
1st, yeah.
Yeah, because I think I leave for vacation on the 3rd, which is Friday.
Well, that's a Friday.
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Hopefully someplace nice,
Yeah.
I'm gone for like 17 days.
solid.
We'll see if the marriage survives.
I hope your
All
wife
right.
doesn't watch these.
No comment, of my opinion.
Right.
All right, nothing else, then
camera,
I'll
why
close
would
the
I say
meeting at 7:44. Thank you.